on WHAS11 News at 5. One of the biggest hard rock and heavy metal festivals in the country is underway in the Ville. We are checking in at Louder Than Life on day one.
Plus, we've got an update on the one-way, two-way street conversions that are happening in Louisville. Which streets are next? We'll let you know.
And it's Give for Good Day, Kentuckiana. We are taking a look at how your donations are helping so many great charities and organizations like the WHAS Crusade for Children. Your news at 5 starts now. One of the largest hard rock and heavy metal music festivals is back in the Bluegrass. 4 days at the fairgrounds in Louisville. And thanks for joining us here at 5. I'm Connie Leonard.
And I'm Conrad DeLuche. We're talking, of course, about Louder Than Life, drawing more than 240,000 music fans from around the world. Yeah. Our Alexandra Goldberg joins us now live from the festival grounds. Alexandra, how's the crowd looking?
Well, the crowds are definitely growing hour by hour as that anticipation builds for that headliner. We're here in the VIP section. We're going to hand the camera over here to the main stage. This is the very front of the barricade. You can see folks are jamming out to one of the performers here, but get this, there are over 175 groups playing just this weekend. Louder Than Life is bringing heavy metal to the Bluegrass State.
I love music, and it's a way to be free.
We plan our yearly trips together every year as best friends for this.
240,000 people expected over the 4-day festival. That's festival goers from all 50 states and 50 countries, drawn to the Expo Center for a loaded lineup.
Fear Factory, Exodus, Slayer, Down.
Definitely Rob Zombie, Lorna Shore, Bring Me the Horizon.
I missed Slayer last year because of the storm. I gotta see Slayer.
There are changes to this year's festival, an all-new layout, which means more room and more stages.
Every year it's better and better. I love the turf. It's a lot better of a layout, a lot safer than last year.
I was gonna quit coming because they kept getting tighter and overselling VIP.
And there's all new access to Kentucky Kingdom. That's what 7-year-old London is most excited about.
The rides.
While London is spreading joy, her father Mitchell Beauchers is spreading his love for heavy metal.
Gotta start them young. Gotta show them what music is. It's not just country and not just rock, not just pop. There's a large spectrum of music.
We also have to mention that this looks very different from Louder Than Life 2024, which was impacted by remnants of Hurricane Helene, the downpours even impacting some of the performances, causing them to become canceled. But this year, there's not a rain jacket in sight, just a warm sun and some good energy. Send it back to you guys.
Louder Than Life certainly living up to its name. A busy weekend ahead here in Louisville. Alongside the festival, there are 2 other major events happening within just a few blocks. Mayor Craig Greenberg says guests for all events must plan ahead because of the traffic risks.
So there are going to be nearly 150,000 people within this small part of our city that are going to and from these wonderful events. And so we want people to take precaution, to plan ahead, because we know there's going to be traffic given what that has.
All right, well, if you're headed out to Louder Than Life and plan to take the shuttle from downtown, we've got a link to purchase passes on our website. Just look for it under the links mentioned during this newscast story on the homepage. And I tell you what, they are having a warm Louder Than Life so far out there. It is warming up.
Yeah, lots of sunshine, no cloud cover to really help them out. So hopefully everybody's staying hydrated, taking frequent breaks in the shade or in the AC as well right there. Because the next 12 hours, we're going to feel some cooler temperatures, of course, once that sun does set. But since this is an all-day event, temperatures the next few days will continue to top out in the upper 80s and lower 90s. Now, by 8 o'clock, we should have temperatures in the lower 80s, and then you can see us quickly dropping into the 70s and eventually the 60s overnight. Part of the reason for that is the drier air that we do have in place. Thankfully, humidity not too bad with the heat this week. Dew points primarily in the 50s, which are certainly tolerable. But something that's not helping is the lack of breeze out there. Wind speeds are less than 10 miles per hour area wide, so there's not much of that air moving around. And because of that, this week we've been under an air quality alert due to heightened ozone levels. This has been since Monday, and this just continues to be extended. That is now the case through midnight Friday night for the Louisville Metro and into southern Indiana. Your hometown forecast for tonight, though, pretty nice with light winds, mostly clear skies, that dry air in place. Temperatures outside of the city likely dropping into the upper 50s, low to mid 60s for the Louisville Metro area. And then tomorrow we are expecting a similar day. Those highs in the upper 80s to low 90s, lots of heat and sunshine. But as we get closer to next week, we are going to have rain chances return, and we can have rain chances just about every day next week. We'll take a look at that 7-day forecast. That's coming up in just a bit, guys.
Sounds good. Thank you, Mallory. Well, a major chapter in the Crystal Rogers case has come to an end. Brooks Houck and Joseph Lawson have been sentenced now for their roles in the Bardstown mother's disappearance and murder over the 4th of July weekend in 2015. Judge Charles Sims standing by the jury recommendation, giving Houck and Lawson the maximum sentences.
Houck was convicted of murder in July and will now spend the rest of his life in prison. Lawson, meanwhile, was found guilty of conspiracy to commit murder and tampering with physical evidence. He received a sentence of 25 years.
Now, during the victim impact statements yesterday, Crystal's family members called Houck a lowlife and compared him to the devil, with Crystal's mother, Sherry Ballard, still asking the big question: where is her daughter?
Did you ever think of how my daughter felt when you murdered her? Did she feel any pain? Did you make sure Crystal knew what you were going to do to her? Did Crystal beg for her life, knowing she had 5 children to come home to? You can admit your guilt, Brooks, and you can tell me where my daughter is, and that's your forgiveness from God.
Now, we also spoke exclusively with Robert Boyd, Joseph Lawson's attorney, who told us about Lawson's immediate reaction to his sentence.
Mr. Lawson was expecting it. Ultimately, we're glad to have some finality in this matter, and so is Mr. Lawson, so that we can move on through the appellate process.
Both defendants do have a right to appeal, and those cases would go directly to the Kentucky Supreme Court. Boyd says he has already taken the first steps in Lawson's appeal. Judge Charles Sims has signed a request for Lawson to have public defenders represent him during that process.
Speakers in Indiana called gerrymandering voter suppression in disguise, saying it divides communities of color and working-class neighborhoods while protecting the powerful. Senator Andrea Hundley criticized Indiana Governor Mike Braun for prioritizing politics over families facing high utility bills and health care costs. Former Mayor of South Bend, Pete Buttigieg, urging leaders to serve all Hoosiers, not just the wealthy few.
They want the outcome of the election to be decided before you even get to go vote. They want this to be one of those countries where you don't even have to wait for the results to know how the vote's going to turn out.
Democrats urge people to register, attend hearings, and make their voices heard, saying the fight for fair maps is a fight for democracy itself.
New here at 5, a Louisville attorney believes the city's ban on no-knock warrants could be in jeopardy. That's after a ruling by the Kentucky Supreme Court earlier today. The court struck down a city ordinance in Lexington that prohibits their police officers from using no-knock warrants. A majority of justices said that it violated state law and allows this procedure under some circumstances. Today, Louisville attorney Carl Price told us that Louisville's ordinance is very similar to Lexington's, which could put that at risk as well.
What the Supreme Court is saying is that Big Brother has spoken and Big Brother rules. And if you do anything that conflicts with what Big Brother has said, that will be a problem. And that is a potential legal challenge. Basically, it says municipalities are not allowed to overrule or pass legislation that conflicts with state law.
When asked for comment, LMPD said they are still reviewing the ruling with their legal team. But Metro Police did say they have no intention of reversing this policy. The mayor's office echoed that, saying LMPD will continue following the city's ban on no-knock warrants. Metro Council passed that ordinance back in June 2020, 3 months after the police killing of Breonna Taylor. LMPD had a no-knock warrant for that raid, but to this day, the department says officers did announce their presence before forcing their way into Taylor's apartment.
And I heard that I'm the guy. I personally want to tell you thank you. Thank you. Thank you for everything that y'all do. It means so much to me. I cannot believe this is happening, but I knew it would, because y'all never give up.
You just heard from the brother of the victim who died in this house fire in Old Louisville back in 2015. The case had run cold, unsolved, but earlier this year, investigators say they cracked the case, linking Michael Robertson as the suspect. Robertson died in 2023. This morning, Louisville Mayor Craig Greenberg honored the 4 investigators who worked to close this decade-long case.
It was a violent crime with a tragic impact and outcome on our community. The fire that was deliberately set, a fire that took the lives of 3 of our own members in this community, a fire that injured several others. It was a near misfire that nearly killed firefighters of our own.
Hundreds of hours were put in, and investigators never gave up. After a tip many years after this fire occurred, these individuals solved the case.
This case is now officially closed.
Louisville's newest hometown hero is none other than Simmons College of Kentucky President, the Reverend Dr. Kevin Cosby, Councilwoman Tammy Hawkins, and Colonel Pam Stevenson.
God gives to us that God might give through us. And I hope that my life has been a life of service that has made a difference for West Louisville, which is my home, which is my heart, and which is my hope.
Well, Dr. Cosby's leadership at Simmons College dates back to 2013, and family and faculty at the unveiling described him as someone who can get things done. Under his tenure, Simmons College of Kentucky has undergone several enhancements, most recently opening a standalone bookstore on campus during Louisville's HBCU week. Cosby is also the leader of St. Stephen Baptist Church, where he has served as senior pastor for the past 46 years.
We're going to look ahead to next Tuesday when all branches of the Jefferson County Clerk's office will be closed for the day. The office says this is in respect of longtime clerk Bobby Holsclaw's burial service that day. Jefferson County customers can go to surrounding county clerk offices in Meade, Hardin, Bullitt, Shelby, Spencer, or Oldham counties. Once again, that's next Tuesday. Now, Holsclaw passed away last week at the age of 81. She had served as county clerk since 1999.
Coming up, a CDC advisory panel kicks off a 2-day meeting today where members are expected to discuss and vote on vaccines currently recommended for all children. That includes measles, mumps, rubella, chickenpox, hepatitis B, and COVID.
And coming up next, 3 officers in Pennsylvania are dead and 2 are in critical condition after a suspect hiding in camouflage shot them. The latest on the investigation coming up.
And here's today's Kentucky Lottery jackpots. Mega Millions, $423 million. Powerball, $99 million.
The Kentucky Lottery, funding education for over 1 million Kentucky students.